Have you ever had a project and forgot when it was due?
Kia,
What?
our project from Mr. Onion is due today.
A project?
Yes, and it's due right now.
Oh my goodness. Then that mean I have to get pencils, pens, markers, and a poster. I don't know what to do.
What you say?
I need pencils, pens, markers, and a poster.
Call Stevie or go to the school store.
Okay, let's go.